Hello friends. Today we're going to discuss about role of counselors in child sexual abuse. I'm Dr. Suresh Badadmat, Professor of Psychiatry, working at NIMANS, Bangalore. Before I start my presentation, I would like to place this disclaimer. This presentation is for academic and training purpose only, not for clinical or legal opinion. For clinical opinion, please do contact a psychiatrist. For legal opinion, please do contact an advocate. Conflict of interest? None. The objective of this video is to discuss about child sexual abuse, what is the role of counselors, how to support the child when there is a child sexual abuse, and how to support the family. The target audience for this video are doctors, psychiatrists, nurses, counselors, mental health professionals, professionals from criminology background, officers of observational home, advocates, and judicial officers. Let's discuss about child sexual abuse. Child sexual abuse is defined as the involvement of a child in sexual activity that he or she does not fully comprehend, is unable to give informed consent to, or for which the child is not developmentally prepared and cannot give consent, or that violates the law or social taboos of the society. This is the definition given by World Health Organization. What are the legal framework for providing counseling for child sexual abuse survivors? Section 19(5) clearly talks about this. The POCSO Act clearly says that where the Special Juvenile Police Unit or police is satisfied the child against whom an offense has been committed is in need of care and protection, then it shall be, after recording the reason in writing, make immediate arrangements to give him such care and protection, including admitting the child into the shelter home or to the nearest hospital within 24 hours of the reporting of the case. That means the police has been casted upon an obligation to provide care and protection. Further, Section 39 of the POCSO Act also says that, subject to such rules as may be made in this behalf, the state government shall prepare the guidelines for use of NGOs, professionals, and expert or persons having knowledge of psychology, social work, physical health, and mental health and child development to be associated with the child during the pre-trial or during the trial to assist the child. It may be with regarding the treatment, maybe giving witness, or during the trial process. Further, the POCSO rules also makes it very clear under Rule 4. Where a special juvenile police unit or the local police receives an information under the subsection 1 of section 19 of the Act, they must inform the child and his or her parents or guardians or any other person whom the child has trust and confidence the availability of support services such as counseling and assisting them in contacting that person who are responsible for providing these services and relief. So the Rule 4 is very clear. That means the child and the family members need to be offered with counseling services, and the police has to make arrangements in contacting these people. Further, Rule 5 also says wherever necessary, a referral or a consultation for mental or psychological health or other counseling should be made by the medical professionals rendering the emergency medical care to the child. That means even the obligation is casted upon the people who are coming in contact with the child as health professionals. Next question is, who may be appointed as a counselor? Is there any educational background the law speaks? It is very clear. It clearly says that under Integrated Child Protection Scheme, that is ICPS scheme, Childline Services counselors will be involved. Counselors appointed by the District Child Protection Society, they will be involved. Or else NGOs and other voluntary sector organization counselors can be involved, or else the state government can hire the counselors on contract basis. The state government can engage counselors on contract basis, any mental health professionals working in district mental health program, or else from the private hospitals or from the NGOs or any private practitioners, services can be hired. And these counselors need to have at least 2 to 3 years of experience in handling child sexual abuse and family members of child sexual abuse survivors. And payment will be as per the state government norms. But however, to handle the child sexual abuse, there should be a training of the counselors. First and the foremost is orientation and training of newly recruited staff. If there are already in service staff, they need to be trained. Every 2 years, refresher course has to be done as a training. And these counselors need to participate in conference, seminars, workshop, so that their knowledge is updated, so that they can provide a good care to the child. Now the question is, what is the role of counselors? The role of counselors is two important. One is towards the child and towards the family members of the child. Their role starts with to understand the child's physical and mental health condition, to resolve the trauma and foster the care and healing process, to hear the child's version of the circumstances around the child sexual abuse, to facilitate the child to the reintegration with the family and the community. So these are the very essential steps which have been given to the counselors. If the counselors come to know about the child sexual abuse, how should they respond? They also need to educate the family members how to respond. First and the foremost, believe the child. Do not suspect the child's intention of reporting the child sexual abuse. You need to trust the child. Don't be emotionally overwhelmed. Oh, the child has been abused. Do not interrogate the child. Reassure the child that the abuse is not their fault, because the person who was abused would have induced guilt into the child. Hence, you need to reassure the child it is not your fault. Do not make any false promises which cannot be kept. Do not say everything will be all right. Do not say that the abuser will be taken into custody. I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to kill him. Don't do such things. You say that I'm concerned about you. I want to protect you. I want to give the best care possible. So what are the two best actions to be done to hasten the healing process? The two important is trusting the child and supporting the child. These are the two important actions the counselor and the family members need to do. What are the things you have to tell? When the child discloses about the child sexual abuse, you immediately need to say, without reacting, I am glad you told me. Thank you for trusting me. I will trust you. That you can say. You can also say, you are very brave and you have done the right thing. And you also need to say, it was not your fault. The adult has taken the advantage of your child. So you have to make sure that you have to say this, because you have to remove the guilt from the child. At the same time, you should start working, reverse the grooming process. That means the child has gone through a grooming process by the adult, targeting the child, filling the need of the child by knowing the background of the child, isolating the child, abusing the child, and controlling over the child. This is the grooming process each pedophile or abuser does with the child. Hence, you need to reverse that. How to do that? You need to break the control of the abuser over the child. Hence, the child need to be separated from the abuser first. Start removing the guilt of the child, because the child believes because he is beautiful, or else because he's done something, hence the abuser was doing this. You need to instill self-confidence in the child, and you need to make the child to be socializing with other children. At the same time, you need to provide family support, and at the same time, the child should be as much as possible in contact with the family members. Now the question is, what is the process of engaging the survivors in the counseling? The process of counseling is very essential. Establish a trusting relationship with the child. That is very essential. You need to trust the child so that the rapport is built. Counselor would need to speak to the child in its own language. That means if the child speaks French language, the counselor should be knowing French language and he should be able to speak the same language. And also you need to explain the purpose of counseling to the child and the family members, because they should know what to expect from the counselor. Allow free flow of talk between the child and the counselor. More talk has to be done from the child side, less from the counselor. Don't control the child's conversation. Follow the leads of the child. Child often lacks the vocabulary of child sexual abuse. They do not know how to explain that abuse has occurred. Is extremely sensitive. So you need to take time. You need to build the rapport. You need to know what is the child developmental age, at the same time the maturity of the child. Then only you need to probe into child sexual abuse. Session with counselor may reveal new incidents or evidence regarding the crime or regarding the abuse. Hence, keeping in touch with the police is very essential. Counselors need to be involved as early as possible during the pre-trial and during the trial process. Healing takes time. Hence, the counselor need to engage with the child for a period of 1 year to 2 years. Rapport building is essential so that the child does not drop out. Working on the feelings of the child is very essential. Teach safer coping techniques to the child and the family members. Helping the child to understand abuser was at fault. It is not the fault of the child. Helping the child to develop confidence is very essential step. Provide sex education to the child. Encourage appropriate social behavior. These are the very essential steps the counselor need to do. Process of engaging the family members in counseling, because not only you need to counsel the child, you need to counsel the family members, because once the child sexual abuse occurs, the whole family will be broken into pieces. Now you need to heal the family also. Family will be in grief, hence the grief work should be done. Family discord may appear, hence family therapy need to be done. Family will be in a highly stressful situation. Stress management should be told. And there will be guilt in the family members, especially parents. You need to do supportive work to the family members. You need to tell them you can't be 24/7 with the child. You need to do work. The child needs to go outside. Hence, the abuser will wait for this opportunity. And you need to remove this guilt so that they can engage back the child and provide care. If the partner or the spouse is the abuser, that means divorce is guaranteed. Or else they need to adjust with the abuser, or else the abuser is been arrested. Hence, the individual therapy should be done to the survivor. Family may break down. Hence, supportive work should be done with the spouse. Family may become overprotective about the child after the child sexual abuse. Hence, counseling should be done. Hence, the normalization of the child's activity of daily living to be done at the earliest. The family may go through the economic issues. Hence, referral to the agencies so that the compensation can be given to the child and the family members. Sometimes family members may develop depression, may develop anxiety disorder. In such a scenario, medication, seeking help, cognitive behavioral therapy will help. Further, the coping skills of the family need to be enhanced, like family task shifting and task sharing to be done, because the parents need break, need to normalize child's life immediately. Family members should support each other. Task sharing and task shifting is very, very essential. And family timeout as often required. Seek help from others is very, very essential. Avoid fighting in front of the child. Avoid discussing worries in front of the child. Do not discuss difficulties in front of the child, because the child will start thinking, because of me, the parents are fighting. Because of me, the parents are going through a troubled time. Avoid emotional reaction in front of the child. Encourage the child to get back to the routine at the earliest, will heal the child. Now, there are some tips to the counselors. First and the foremost, trust the child. Never suspect the child. Support the child. Do not blame the child. Prevent the contact of the child with the abuser. Do not talk to the offender or the abuser in front of the child. It may be legal reason you're interacting, so keep the child and the offender separate. And make sure the child does not sees you talking to the offender, because the rapport will be broken. The child will not trust you. The healing process will be halted. There should be unconditional support. Inform the child's sibling, that means brother and sister of the child, that something has happened with the child, that is your brother, and he is now safe. Don't worry, we are taking care of the child. And you need to talk less. The child need to talk more during the counseling process. And the role of the counselor is to listen. Respect the child's privacy. That is very essential. And at the same time, during the counseling, appropriate body language is very essential. And whenever you ask questions, it should be open-ended questions. Explore about the emotions. Advise less. No lecturing or no criticizing the child. Trust the child. I'm repeating this. And as a counselor, know your limitation. Know when to refer the child. Sometimes this child may develop severe mental health problems, severe behavioral problems, severe emotional outburst. No resolution of symptoms in spite of doing counseling for 3 to 6 months. There may be new symptoms which may appear. Child may attempt suicide, depression, regressive behavior may become worsening. And if the child continues to have biological dysfunction, that is sleep problems, difficulty in having food, social problems, academic dysfunction, those are the children need to be referred to psychiatrist. To conclude, my dear friends, whenever there is a child sexual abuse and the child has reported, trust the child and support the child. Counseling of the child and the family members is very essential for the healing process of the child. Tailor the counseling needs of the family. Healing takes time. Normalize the child's life at the earliest. As a counselor, know your limitation and know when to refer the child. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time. Stay safe.